Hello and thanks for tuning in. This is Katya at Urban Wellness, herbal apothecary located in Kirkland, Washington, and we also sell online. And I'm going to talk to you today not about tea, but about our powder we are calling it turmeric golden milk powder. And the concept of golden milk has become really popular in the last, I'd say, maybe a couple years. And basically what it is it's a turmeric-based drink mixed into some kind of milk. So traditionally in India and Southeast Asia, you would mix turmeric and other spices in with cow milk and heat that and drink that. And there's a good benefit to that because turmeric itself doesn't taste all that great on its own, but obviously in food and curries and things like that. But in order to consume larger amounts for its anti-inflammatory properties, which is primarily what people are using it for, but also for its antioxidant, anti-cancer properties, which are extensive as well, most people in the Western world don't get enough because they're not getting it in their diet. And one of the beauties of how they use it in Ayurvedic medicine or in India is that the fat in the milk actually increases absorption of turmeric. Turmeric is very poorly absorbed when they look at systemic absorption through the intestinal lining. But if you take it with fat and if you take it with black pepper, those are two things that we know can increase the absorption of turmeric. Now, I didn't put black pepper in this blend. I'll tell you what's in it in a minute. Because not everybody would want that amount of spice. And so what I'm suggesting is if you want to give that a whirl, I'll tell you how to make this blend and you'll crank in a couple cranks of black pepper. You don't need very much, just a little bit. And I know that sounds weird too, but this whole blend is kind of odd if you think about it. So those of you who may be familiar with the concept of golden milk, it's turmeric based, so turmeric powder, the bright orange, yellow powder that so many people know is a culinary spice. But you can combine it with other things to make it more palatable. So it's traditionally pretty bitter, not the most delicious tasting on its own. I've mixed it here with ginger, which ginger is in the same family as turmeric. In fact, the root looks very similar, except that the turmeric root is bright orange, if you've seen it ever fresh in the produce department. And ginger has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties too, so it's actually a very wonderful complement. And both can be helpful for digestive function, and turmeric is also known to help increase bile flow and bile secretion, and so therefore digestion of fats. You combine that with ginger, and that's really a lovely combo. We also added cardamom powder and cinnamon, and that just increases the flavor, but both of those spices are high-powered spices as well. So you have cardamom, which helps with digestion, and cinnamon can help with digestion as well, especially its antimicrobial properties. So it has some anti-yeast, antibacterial properties, and it also balances blood sugar. So traditionally, turmeric is one of the side effects or downsides of turmeric for some people is that it can irritate the stomach lining. So often it is recommended to take it with food, and some people are still sensitive to it even in that form. But if you mix it with digestive aids like ginger and cardamom, that could offset that. So that's an advantage. And when you mix it in something like milk, that could offset that as well. Now, I know you guys are wondering, can you use some other form of milk besides dairy? Yes, you can. You could use almond milk or cashew milk or whatever, soy milk or whatever form you prefer to use. It just needs to contain fat. That's the biggest thing, and it will taste better too. So you could heat the milk or steam it if you have an espresso machine. And then you whisk in the powder. So it's a powder. So you're consuming the whole thing. You're not just steeping it. So you'd put in about a teaspoon of that, whisk it in. And then I like to add a little bit of honey. And you can do that crank of black pepper like I talked about. And some people like to add coconut oil as well. So you could add like a teaspoon of that. And that gives it that richness. But it also has more fat, which is going to help with absorption of the turmeric. So this is our turmeric golden milk. It took me a long time to make this because I assumed everybody would just say, well, I have those spices at home. Why don't I just make my own? And that's true. You could make your own. But what I found so far is it's been selling really well, and people are like, I could, but I never do. And this is a way of more consistently getting turmeric in, especially if you love that idea of having a warm beverage that you can drink any time of day. It's not going to keep you awake at night. That you can mix this in. And there are other herbs you could add in on top of it, and it's a lovely way to consume herbs. Some people add ashwagandha root for its calming properties and its adaptogenic effects on the adrenal glands. So feel free to experiment with that and make your own blend, either via our turmeric golden milk or making your own combination or adapting ours to suit your taste. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you'll try this turmeric golden milk, either by coming in store or purchasing it online. And we look forward to serving your herbal needs in the near future.